So the way that Nepal needs to try to adjust to this situation is maybe they could draw them out. This is going to be the second game's draft. Iran will be in the first pick, first ban.
I feel like Nepal, if they really can, if you really want to get this game, like what I mentioned earlier just now, play early, play too early to mid. Draw Iran out. I agree with you. And also, you know, abuse the mistakes, because you can see sometimes Mahdi, even though as an Akai, he overextends himself a little bit too far. Ali is also punishable as well. Abuse that, especially in the earlier just now, you saw the Cho is so punishable because he overextends. But now, seems like Team Iran taking away the Kai, Jusin, and also the Eve. Team Nepal, on the other hand, the Freya, the Baxia, and also the Marcel. I think this is like what?
Fredrin too. The Fredrin's open.
Fredrin's
open.
Paquito is open. But I feel like Paquito right now, no offense, I feel like if you notice, even if Vinoia decides to go for the Arlot first pick instead of Paquito pick, maybe he knows what's up. The Paquito kind of got nerfed just a little bit in the previous match.
Oh, the Phobias slipped through the brands, and it's going to be picked up first pick.
Yep, good one. I think it's a good B1 pick. The Phobias counters almost a lot of things, especially in this particular patch, especially the dashes. To a certain extent, the Paquito dashes, right? And to a certain extent, the Fredrin also dash. These are dashes that refresh the cooldowns for the side of this Phobia. So good opener. We haven't seen the Phobias in so long because it was slipped. It was mostly permaban, but now it's back on track.
What's the play here for the Phobias? Do you go for a little bit of okay, they answered my question. I was thinking either the carry or the Claude, but the carry would be the answer. Right now, Nepal really needs a strong front line. The Valentina will be the answer again in case they pick up something with a really high CC. It's kind of like sussing out that Iran wants to pick up the Atlas once again.
I feel like Nepal kind of was a little bit too hasty to pick out the Valentina for the side of Lilim in this R1 pick. I feel like there's better picks here for the side of Team Nepal, right? Even to a certain extent, you can go back to the Leo mod. You can go back into maybe your pick up a roam, or instead of better other mids apart from Valentina. Because if you go for the Valentina now, you know Team Iran knows what's up. They can draft. Since the EXP laner is already a Phobias, this is ultimate that the Valentina doesn't want to take. Claude as well, this is not an ultimate that you want to take. Yeah, there you go.
Doesn't have any ultimates that you want to take.
Exactly. So Team Nepal, I feel like R1 pick is a little bit sus coming up from them. So that's why Team Iran, smart play right here, right? Go for Glue, go for the Phobias, go for the Claude. And the best part is, because there's no Paquito, Glue is allowed to just literally run rampant all across the board.
Ooh,
and no Vexana, don't forget.
This is pretty tough for a Valentina first pick from Nepal as well. There's not too much useful ultimates. If you take the Demonic Force, you're just putting yourself in that highly committed spot, and then everyone will just shoot you down, especially that Claude. You don't want to be putting yourself in that position as well. But the Fredrin is still open though. I would have thought like, hey, Nepal would have picked up that Fredrin instead.
Yeah, R1 Fredrin, right? Or even if Team Nepal wants to go for the Alice, the R1 Alice is so much better. Not only just the fact that you protect.
Hanzo ban.
Yeah, you protect everybody else, but you also, counters or denies a glue pick, because those mini glues are also potential targets for Alice to also absorb those HP.
Yeah, all these Bloodfest kind of heroes really likes these kinds of small little gloops. It could be potentially, hold on to the mid lane pick and then maybe go in with a Theramis or even a Vexana that might be that might work a little bit better. At least you have more access to that glue since you're in the mid lane. But I guess, Valentina is a pretty strong mid lane hero. You're able to push that mid lane and get that dominance, get that control ASAP, which is what plays to Nepal's strength. They like that aggression, they like that early game push, they like that early game rotations. The Guinevere also slipped through the cracks. They would have been able to pick that up as well. Soft counters that Obi is quite a bit.
I feel like Team Nepal might go for a Suyo here. Find the assassination onto the Claude, that's it. And since you already got a very tanky EXP laner, usually see a tanky EXP laner, you go for an assassin jungler. There you go. Harley comes into play for the side of Team Nepal. Those deadly magic will definitely land down the damage onto Claude. But now, Team Iran, also, I think if they already go for the Phobias, this is a tank EXP. You got a super tank on the glue in the form of the roam. You need something hard hitting in the mid. You also need maybe perhaps something hard hitting in the jungler as well. Okay, this is going to be a Valer. Anti-dive works well against Alice and also to a certain extent Valentina. I'll take that any day. But now I'm looking at maybe also Suyo or Lancelot from the side of Team Iran. But knowing Mahdi, don't think that will be the case.
They could just go in with the Fredrin for themselves, yeah. It makes a lot of sense, but the carry is just tankular.
Correct.
So you're very vulnerable to that one. The Leomar would be the answer. I like that quite a bit. It's like we just took one step back into the previous patch, and then we see the Leomord versus Harleys once again.
I feel like the Leomord is not going to get really empowered here for the B5 pick.
Not for the early game, but the late game, I would say this Leomord causes a lot of damage.
Yeah, but I feel like, you know, Leomord is tanky, right? It can't really stretch through tanks. I was thinking even the Suyo for the side of Team Iran, it would be so much better, but I then remembered, you know, Mahdi hasn't really shown that he's played a lot of assassins. Harley is a very easy assassin to execute, and, you know, Mitoya, we've seen Harley's really getting so much early game pressure earlier this time. We talk about this in between game number 1 game number 2, right? They need early game. You know, Alice technically pop off at level 4. Harley pops up very early on. Valentina, if you play, you can scale fast. Gato Kacha is the roaming pick coming out from Team Nepal.
That's pretty much the same thing as a Fredrin, but in a roam position. You're not putting yourself in a very vulnerable position. But for Nepal, again, they're putting themselves in this spot where you have to send your assassin to start off with the objectives, and once you get caught out or you're visible by your opponents, it's immediately dived upon. There is not a lot of get closers in the side of Iran. It's just typically they want to play the typical front to back. Glue, on the other hand, has a little bit of pros and cons to that one. Ecclesio is, once you use that ultimate, you're going to be latched on to someone else and then taken far away. That's the AOG that we're talking about.
I think the AOG is there to kind of complement onto what the TOR wants to do. Apparently, if I remember correctly, Marcel was banned. So I was thinking Marcel was a better pick for the side of R5. But Gavakacha in his current work, I think it's just there to basically absorb everything coming out from the Claw. Heck, even a Belleric will fit better in the roster for the side of Team Iran, right? You go in with the TOR, with the Belleric, you basically double massive stun right there. The Belleric counters against what the Claw wants to do as well, because of the taunt as well. Yeah, so I feel like Belleric would be better because it's anti-dive. Seems like Team Iran, this is a dive composition. You've got Amadi on the Leomord, you've got Phobius on the you got Abu Fazl on the Phobius. Technically speaking, even Amirali has to dive as well.
Well, stakes are high. Iran 1 game away from solidifying their spot in the main stage in Nagoya, Japan. And Nepal has to fight their way back. Poria tries to tease a little bit. Matoya will take away that purple buff at the very least.
Yeah, I want Lilith to really start doing this, right? Be super aggressive on the Valentina. A good Valentina is when the Valentina is at least 1 level ahead of the enemy mid laner. That's when you can see, you know, the Valentina truly utilize the passive.
Nepal, aggression into the jungle, a little bit more vision. And Nepal doesn't want to risk it too early on. I feel like they should just wait for Matoya to get a little bit of hits and then test that damage with the ultimate as well.
Get the deadly magic up and running, right?
Yeah.
Level 4, and then after that you start ganking. I hope Amirale. Don't try to gank Abu Fazl because it's a little bit awkward. You don't try to kill a Phobius. Albeit for Phobius in the early game is super weak, but with Kishore as your own EXP laner, you don't have that killing potential. You don't have that killing pressure against a Phobius.
Valentina is also pretty awkward to me in this entire draft for Nepal.
Yeah.
Getting first pick, I think it's not really their fault. They had a plan and what they wanted to do, but at the end of the day, like it doesn't serve a lot of utility besides like the early game lane dominance.
I think that's the whole point, right? In this particular scenario, this Lilim is not more like, needs to act more like a burst mage instead of utility mage as well. Don't forget, yeah, Lilim, the best ultimate to steal away is the Barbiel, and the Barbiel, what, you knock out people along the way, and then after that you ride the horse and run away, basically, because you don't really have the damage.
Yep, that's the for the IMU. There's Abhishek on the corner, down low. There's Amadi getting taken out first. Nepal will steal 1 kill for themselves. Abu Fazl not giving up without a fight. Down. Oh, he will be able to sustain though. Ankit stays for so long. Enough time for Nepal to take out and snatch up his turtle. But they are still seeing red. They're still going for more.
Yeah, Ankit on the other hand, Mitoya were almost able to take down Poria earlier, just now Juros. But hey, this is where, you know, this is what we call early game scaling, right? Technically speaking, Mitoya just need deadly magic, burst down Mahdi, rinse and repeat. And now because the fact is Mitoya takes down the turtle, Mahdi, even though, yeah, losing his life right there and losing out to Turtle, still able to match on the EXP, so that's, I would say, credits over the side of Mahdi, but Team Nepal needs to widen that gold league gap even more, because that's where they're, right now, in this particular space, they are truly strong. But you can see how it's very annoying, especially to fight a Phobius in the choke point. Abu Fazl was able to knock out at least 2 to 3 members from the side of Team Nepal earlier just now, and Linim, you know, is also in an awkward position, right? Once you, even though if you take Mahdi's ultimate, you are still very squishy.
It's definitely difficult to deal with both the Glue as well as the Phobia, since they're all very latchy heroes. They're always on top of you, and you can't really shake them off. I think that for Nepal, this problem is going to be a later problem in the late stages of the game. But for Iran, though, they're definitely going to suffer a little bit in the early game since Amirali takes time to scale. We also see early rotations. Abhishek is just winning that lane, is pushing down the lanes and rotating and joining in these team fights. So this is what we want to see, the fast rotations, the aggressiveness coming in from Nepal, really showing, starting to show.
Abhishek definitely, I would say, is compared to a Claude, scales faster. But hope, Mitoya.
There's Deadly Magic onto Alphazo. Might not be enough to take him down, but that is the backup squad. Madi goes in. Mitoya finally takes down Alphazo, but Kishore's in a spot of bother right there. Will be able to get full back. The TOR will land, but all for naught as he loses his life as well. An EXP for an EXP.
I mean, at this point of time, if you are Alphazo, you're not really feeling good because Amphobius relies on items very heavily. You want to stay in the lane as long as possible so that you become that tanky Amphobius that dives all the way to the back line. Kishore, on the other hand, I feel like Kishore as an Alice, we talk about him, Alice looking like a raid boss yesterday. Yeah, definitely also need the items, but the TOR provides so much value. You don't really need a lot of items for the Alice to really be effective.
Oh, there's a Barbu. Madi actually takes it from underneath Matoya's nose. The Barbu will chase everyone out. You're underneath that turret. Abhishek will go down by the hands of the Claude. Amirali is in the corner as well. Not Nepal, that was a risky play.
Well, if I have a bell right here, I will say ding ding because Amirali take one kill, whereas Abhishek loses his. And that's a massive difference, right? Even though, yes, they're technically, that was a full-on 5v5, but going back into the lane for side Amirali and Abhishek, Amirali definitely has a bit of an advantage already. Every kill that you give over to Amirali, Amirali will be able to return it twofolds. But Abhishek right here has to rush for that golden star, because that's a massive power spike for the carry. And now if you notice, Ankit knows what's up. He's forced to babysit Abhishek right here.
It is also difficult in the mid to late stages of the game when Claude really starts to show some damage, where Nepal doesn't have any reliable lockdown, reliable stuns to keep him at bay. And this will be a very, very huge problem in the later stage of the game. So Abhishek really needs to level up and get his core items ASAP. I second you, the golden staff is going to do a lot of real damage, as well as the rotations coming in during these major objectives.
And I think the only way to lock down Amirali is just delete him, right? Like literally, Mitoya's whole job right now, I would say, is to land the Deadly Magic onto Amirali, press him down, and then after that, I want to see Team Nepal play around Amirali a lot more. Just make that EXP a neutral lane for the side of both Team Iran and Team Nepal as well. And then after that, you know, play around the goat side. And the best part is, this time round, the turtle is spawning on the goat side. Instead, potential 5v5 brawl will happen once again.
So Iran is quite a divey kind of composition, so during all these major objective fights, they don't really have a lot of, Nepal doesn't really have a lot of defense. Speaking of defense though, Kishore able to get out, Madi already committed that Barbeal, so he's running on that horse up in time for this first, the last turn of the game. Matoya all on the other side of that map, but they're changing up their adjustments, they're changing up their rotations.
You know what a wonderful skin that Blue has got himself as well, Patrick? Also, you know, one of the...
with the AOG, a little bit too high committal. Ali will lock him down. That is the flicker committed as well.
Sure, do something.
Just slowly hitting him on that backside. Moria will seal that kill.
Man, Kishore is stuck in at the wrong place. Ankit decides to dive all the way in an AOG. A bit, I would say, slight miscom coming up the side of Team Nepal. I'm not too sure what happened right there, but Turtle giving up the side of Team Iran over there. Ankit, I think he's trying to steal the Turtle using AOG.
Oh, he's still sustaining, no? Madi will not fall, but Lilim will change my words.
Yep, Lilim, that's why I need Thirsty Mage time, man. This is the time when the Valentina acts more like a actual damage dealer as compared to your, you know, your regular Valentina that you usually see when there's an enemy team that is racking full of like the fatal links and everything.
Well, it's still kind of early. Ankit getting pushed back as well, because Blast has pulled back. Moria will pick up a killing spree for himself. Kishore is back to the corner, trying to delay the team fights. TOR already used up. Alphazo back in the fray, going for the flank, going for the perimeter. And Paul finds his way back out.
I think that probably is a miskit coming over Kishore, right? The flicker over there without the TOR are probably a missed time. But even if the TOR did land on the side of Team Iran, it's a little bit too safe on the side of Team Iran. I would say for Team Nepal to really die, because they already lost Ankit. And yeah, that's the problem, right? I'm not really a big fan of Kacha in this particular patch, and also this particular roster as well, because I'm not too sure what he's supposed to do, right? Are you diving onto are you trying to dive onto Amirali as an AOG? But Amirali has BMI, you know.
Yeah, it's more of a leashing hero. You want to be able to send the Kacha inside the battle first, or get some taunt up, and then buy some time for your team to get in position, and then do that damage. So the leashing capabilities is there, but it doesn't really seem like it in the late, in this stage of the game, because of that barrier always pushing him back.
Well, like what I mentioned, we're stepping into a mid-game position right now. not a lot of assassination. Amirali has not suffered any of that. Means that Mitoya hasn't been ganking up top. And now, because Team Iran has already unlocked Amirali is already starting to, join these team fights and go to scale even harder. Whereas, Team Nepal right here, this early game potential that they have is slowly losing out. Lilim is on the wrong ultimate. This is the problem when you R1 a Valentina, right? You don't really have... if the team is smart and drafting against a Valentina, there's no way that a Valentina will have a great ultimate, a great time. And especially in the early game, Lilim wasn't really, stepping around, poking as much as possible to get that level advantage. And yeah, now Lilim is just
making a penetration. Madi will pick up that Lord. There's AOG to block off the back line, but in the midst of Nepal's jungle, though, you're getting pulled back. There's 2 members down for Nepal as Iran just takes 1 hit at a time. Madi still already doesn't have that Barbiel, but they're chasing down Kishore. They don't want that Alice to get out without a kill, and they will take down 1 hit after another. Again with possession, again with a pullback. Ankit will not be able to survive this one, though. Here comes Madi, though. There's Barbiel once again, knocks him out of position and seals up that deal. Madi takes down another. Nepal suffering in the objective.
I tell you, Team Iran has a better clash composition as compared to Team Nepal, right? Team Iran was able to really dive deep. We're using Madi. They find Abhishek. They find Lilim. Lilim and Abhishek, without the help of Kishore or be it Ankit, is a sitting duck. And what Ankit wants to do, AOG the backline. When you AOG your enemy backline, you're not peeling for your own team.
Yeah, it's way too far ahead. Ankit is playing 3 steps, 5 steps ahead of the rest of Nepal, and he doesn't have any backline protection. This causes a lot of disruptions into Abhishek's face, and Iran is just going to capitalize on that. Madi is so mobile. He's able to go straight into the team fights for into the backline of Nepal and also get back to protect Amirali.
Yeah.
And like we mentioned yesterday, this Claude is not really a backline, it's a pseudo front line.
Yeah, anyways. Yeah, fine. I will agree with you for this one. But Team Nepal, on the other hand, I feel like they need to change up the strategy just a little bit more. They shouldn't find these massive clashes. I feel like pick-off potential is the one they have to do. Play 4-1. If you take a look at how this is happening, right? You see how Ankit just forfeits the backline. Ali and also Madi is all the way in the backline. What can Ankit and Kishore do at the front, at the backline? I mean, Raleigh is able to gobble them up because Claude shreds through HP like Kishore, shreds through HP like Ankit. They don't really pack a lot of heat, and that's why the whole composition for the side Team Nepal 4, Team Iran was able to, take full advantage of that. And of course, don't forget, Poria on that Sreang Torrent, Sreang puts up a wall and really literally tells Nepal, do your backline really want to cross that firewall, because you're going to take a lot of damage, you're going to take a lot of slows, and potentially more Sreang fireballs from me.
I think huge respect to Abu Fazl as well. Immediately after AOG was landed, went onto the face of that carry, denying her from getting even remotely close to that Lord Pit. So they don't really have any secondary form of damage. Lilim doesn't have any utility in the form of any useful ultimates to take. So you're playing a 2-skill Valentina. This is really tough if you're the side of Nepal.
Hey, I mean, you can work it out. Remember what I said, if the Valentina wants to play in this particular roster against Team Iran, you really need to be at least 2 to 3 levels. You need to match the enemy jungle's level in order to have any form of utility, right? You're more of a damage Valentina. You need to try to burst people down. Find Poria, burst him down. Find Amirali, burst him down. Find the flanks. I think that's the only way to play the Valentina at this particular rate. Follow Ankit perhaps, right? Let Abhishek be peeled by the side of Kishore maybe perhaps. That's how Team Nepal. I think this roster for the side of Team Nepal could potentially work. But Mitoya needs to find a good pickup. We talked
a little bit of Mitoya last game, but this game, he doesn't seem to have a lot of presence for this Harley. What's the play here for that Harley? He's getting sent onto the long lane instead of anyone else. He's trying to get into the Lord Pit to start things out. But what's that play?
Remember Ignite Kelvin? Yeah, do Ignite Kelvin. Just hide Mitoya somewhere, Lord.
Lord already taken down by Madi. Down goes Ali. There's the pushback. That is the fight back that Nepal has found for themselves. The AOG will not land and Ankit loses his life. But enough time for Nepal to fight their way and penetrate into Iran's defenses.
I'm glad this is happening, Charles, because Team Nepal has realized that, hey, as long as I people Abhishek and Mitoya can do a lot of damage. And now they secure, they let go of the Lord for now. But then you can see the Sreang Torrent coming off Poria is just so annoying for the side of Team Nepal.
Yeah. They also changed up how they want to execute their team fights and skirmishes. Right? They don't really send Kishore straight into enemy territory. They don't AOG inside the Lord Pit. They just wait for Iran to come to them, and they take the fight to them. The counter-engage potential for Nepal is extremely great with Abhishek on the helm as well.
Yeah, and finally, at the very least, Team Iran is starting to see that Abhishek can do a lot of damage already. And of course, the key target right here is definitely going to be a Lord, and you can see how it's so difficult for the side of Team Nepal to take down Lord because of the constant pokes coming out from Poria. Annoying Team Nepal. It takes a long time for them to take that Lord out.
Great pull, great bait away from the turret, denying the crash. Taking a look at the replay, what went down?
Yeah, Amir Ali is actually holding on to the Blazing Duet for so long because yeah, he finally activated right here, right there. But Mitoya, you know, is a constant threat over to the side of Team Iran. That's the reason why Amir Ali was holding on to the Blazing Duet. I think a little bit too long for my liking because Mahdi and Ali was just diving all the way in. This time around, you also got Kishore threatening with the TOR. Means that, you know, Amir Ali really don't dare to go in.
So it's a traditional death ball kind of strategy, a traditional planted back. Ankit started things off with the taunt to pull them away from Abhishek, creating so much space. And with the Malefic Gun, you have a little bit more range to deal with as well.
Yeah, slightly more range, but always a little bit more range is better, especially for marksmen, right? It is like the best booster for every single marksman to get a little bit more range. But now, if you start to see how Team Nepal is playing it, instead of going for a pick-up strategy, if they really want to clash, they should play in a way that is to basically counter-engage, right? Mahdi, unfortunately, has to dive, and Abu Fazl is basically a dive hero. Ali is also a dive hero as well. And, you know, using the TOR to scare off Amir Ali to basically not letting the Blazing Duet in the back line, that's the whole point. So, nice evolution and nice adaptation coming up from Nepal, but we need to see more.
I have to agree. And this time around, that's a taunt though.
There's a
onto the glue, immediately melted.
Just like the doctor's ordered, right? Team Nepal play pickoff and also play peeling for Abhishek, and that's how they win games.
There's a back wave crashing down the bottom though. It's slow push, but Nepal might need to find themselves getting that recall. Mahdi will be able to survive just for a little bit for the rest of the Gloom Squad to come online. Iran will be able to capitalize on this moment. They threw all their resources. The TOR already landed, gone on to no one. Kishore still barely surviving, still barely standing. They still have that flicker to burn. Will not keep him out of that game for now. The Lord will respawn up as well. Iran winking beeline for that one.
That TOR was pretty sus, mind you, and also that's going to be a flicker. That's massive resources gone, especially for the next Lord fight as well. So Team Iran, knowing that is vital information, they'll go ahead and blitz for the Lord. Don't forget Kishore, I think they need, what, another 90 seconds? You don't have that amount of time. And now it's Team Nepal have to enter this team fight with a slight disadvantage.
They're on position already. It does look like Mahdi doesn't want to show himself. Nepal still needs to source from a little bit more information, a little bit more vision.
Yep. And hey, Team Iran slowing it down, and that's not exactly ideal, I would say. Team Ali and Mahdi actually finding onto Mitoya is on the wrong side of the map, but this vital information given on side Team Nepal. It's going to be a 4v3 right here, but both these two teams, Ankit is not opening up the map. I think they know they're paying too much respect over the side of Team Iran for now. The goal lead's only 4K. I think it's still winnable, especially for the side of Team Nepal.
Whoa, that's a smart positioning from
And now Kishore has the ult.
They're still holding on. They don't want to show themselves though. Iran on the back line. Mahdi tries to push everyone back. Lord down low. Lord at an 8. Might be able to take it out. Mahdi secures that Lord. That's TOR straight onto the back line. Abhishek is all exposed. Amir Ali will take down Ankit. Abhishek will take down Fazl. There's a huge burst damage coming in from that carry. Will take everyone down. It stands in his way.
Nice BMI coming off the side of Team Amir Ali. Abhishek make it caught by the side of Team Ali. And this is when, you know, Team Nepal, you know, they're in a good position. They're 4v3. They know that Ali and also Mahdi is on the other side of the map. Mitoya was sent to deal with it, but Mitoya came and joined the fight a little bit too late. Unfortunate for the side Team Nepal. They lost way too many members right there.
They went down way too fast. Abhishek is just, at this stage, it's essentially a furnace. You come even remotely close, you get burnt down, you get melted instantly. Taking the replay.
Yeah, it's just the fact that, you know, this, even though there's a massive choke point and, you know, you also got Abu Fazl going down for the count, Abhishek is already scaling, but Mitoya joining the fight a little bit too late right there. Don't forget the nerf on the Hardy is that he's unable to really move quickly anymore, right? There's a slight nerf on the movement speed. And not only just that, you also got Poria on that Valir that could just literally build a wall and then start pushing. Perma slow you to death. Mitoya cannot hold the damage coming out from the side of this Valir and then has to back off.
Lord already pushing up on that bottom side. Will be able to crash this T3 down. On the top side though, it's 1v1. Mitoya won't be able to land all the cards though. He will be able to take that off the screen as Lord makes his way, touch foot inside that throne. Iran will back off for now. They know that they can't risk it.
Yep, definitely right. So 4v4 right there for both these two teams. Awkward position coming up from Mahdi, but a good call for the side of Mitoya to basically risk it. Trust the fact that, you know, you got 4 members versus 4 members. Last I checked, should have been equal, even Stevens kind of matchup. So what does Mitoya do? Go match up with Mahdi, deny that push on the up top, and don't forget, this is a late game Hardy. Technically speaking, the Deadly Magic can amplify a lot of damage. Leoma, on the other hand, item build-wise, does have the Demon Wings. Not exactly very tanky as of yet. Relies on the War Axe to basically become that pseudo-sustain and and that at that point in time, there's not a lot of minions around for him to basically cleave to heal all the way back up.
Would you want to rebuild your equipment to at least get the Radiant Armor to deny yourself from that Harley?
Yeah, I think drop the Malefic Gun, Malefic Roar. Your whole point as a Leomord at this juncture is not to basically do damage and burst. Your whole goal right there is to really face tank and also act as a pseudo utility hybrid fighter as compared to Team Nepal. Give the damage over the side of Poria, give the damage over the side of Amirali. You're there, it's either to face tank or to just do cleanup.
I do have to agree with you, 100%. But at this stage though, both of these teams, they excel in 5v5s. They need to send one person to the side lanes. Nepal, clearly they're sending Mitoya. Iran, they do have options in Amirali as well as Mahdi. Do you want to risk sending Amirali to clear the lanes fast and try to get that split push, try to get that lane advantage?
Ali and Mahdi's positioning is gets scouted out. Nepal knows the 4v3 right now around that Lord pit. Amirali is actually working on the Lord, trying to leash it over. I think Mitoya, if they really want to send, I think the best choice definitely is steal the Harley all the way to the side lanes, but Mitoya needs to be reactive. He needs to be able to rotate faster as compared to earlier just now.
Nepal was extremely smart in how they want to play the lanes. Mitoya nowhere to be seen, nowhere to be found. Poria sussing a little bit more for information on across all the bushes, trying their best to delay time.
Ankit needs to open up more outside the map. Mitoya has no information, and information is king, especially if you're an assassin. You need to know the squishy's location. They spotted Amirali, they spotted Poria, but Poria I don't think is the main target coming outside. Mitoya.
Look at Mitoya though. They know where he is though.
Alright, good flank. At least it kind of buys time just a little bit more, Jiro.
There's a fat wave up on that top side, slow pushing up towards Nepal's base.
Someone needs to be sent all the way down bot because if not, Nepal may lose a few turrets.
That's the broad field, that's the deadly magic on top of Poria. Will not be enough to take him down. Alphabet taking a lot of damage in the midst of the whole damage. On the 3, here comes Mitoya. The minions are on the base. They're pushing it down. Iran just needs to buy some time.
Nepal has to try to back out because the Minions all the way to the back of the base.
There's two members down for Nepal.
Minions a bit trouble right here. Abhishek limping all the way, but Willie coming a bit in time though.
Oh, Abhishek is all over. No, Abhishek is right
just
there.
In time.
He
oh my god.
denies that minion push. Again, they're on the precipice. They're on the brink.
Oh my god, that was so close to comfort for the side of Team Nepal. They were just overestimating the amount of time they kind of need to be able to deal with Iran. They tunnel vision once again against Team Iran, and then after that, you know, there's a fast second wave all the way down bot, and they have to send somebody all the way back.
They're pushing, they're cycling, it's 1v3. It's 1v3. It's Abhishek against Iran. He will fall.
That's it. GG well played for the side of Team Iran. They will be going to Nagoya, Shiros.
What a play. This is an extremely interesting matchup, especially from different groups in the different regions.
Yeah, and don't forget, Team Nepal was, you know, they worked so hard in a particular good. Team Iran as well. They faced up against, you know, Saudi Arabia in their particular group. GG well played. They had to drop down to the low chance qualifier, last chance qualifier, and from there they re-qualified into Nagoya. Congratulations over the side of Team Iran. That was, I would say, steady hands that won that race.